Hey guys, it's the last day of our challenge, the fifth day of our 5 day stress less challenge. How are you guys feeling after a week of taking just great steps towards managing your stress, reducing your stress, proactively avoiding, hopefully, maybe future stress? The goal is that after the 5 days that you'll be feeling less stressed, that you'll be feeling good and maybe even feeling motivated and positive about the steps that you have taken and super pumped to continue them in the days and weeks to come so that you're continuing to get those benefits, continuing to really, you know, feel your best. That's what the goal is, at least. So, before we get into today's topic on self care, I just want to touch on a couple of housekeeping items. Since today is the last day of our challenge, I just want to let you know that our archive page will be open for the next week. So you can access any videos that you might have missed or that you'd like to review on the archive page, or any email content that you hadn't received from day one or day two or so on that you might have missed or that you want to reread. That page will be open for the next week and then it'll close. And then the same goes for our Facebook group. So I'll keep the group open for another week. Feel free to continue to share how things are going, post any questions you have if you like, and if you're continuing to take really great steps, share those in the comments in the group too. Like, I'd love to hear anything you're doing next week towards taking care of yourself. I'd love to see pictures or selfies or whatever you have, whatever you want to share. And if you're struggling too, feel free to share that as well up until next week. Okay, so today we're talking about self-care, which I think is the most fun topic of the week because out of all 5 of them, it's probably the one that you might look forward to the most. Some of these I know were more challenging than others, and some of them, are harder to start implementing. But self-care is one of those things that can be something that you really look forward to. At the same time, it can be one of the things that's hardest for people who are super busy and super stressed to actually take the time for and prioritize. Are you kind of relating to that at this point? Me too. Honestly, it can be really hard. But I hope that you know by now that it is so important for your overall mental, emotional, and physical well-being to take time for things that actually nourish you and replenish you, rejuvenate you, feed your soul, and so on. And so, just before I forget, actually, I forgot to say, if you're with me live, feel free to say hi. Tell me if you have practiced your self-care today yet, or if you're planning to. I'd love to hear your comments. So if you're one of those people who values self-care but has a hard time prioritizing it or making time for it, that is totally understandable and so common. You are definitely not alone in that. I bet you most people, actually, particularly the really super busy, got so much on my plate, I'm overworked, I'm stressed out, I'm burnt out people, are having a hard time making time for self-care. And so we can talk about some really practical ways to get that done, because I have been asked, like, how can I make it a little easier to do these things? And one of them is, I think, just scheduling it the same way you schedule everything else in your life. If you've got a full calendar, then waiting for this magical moment in your day or your week to just open up where everything will align and you can take time for yourself might not happen, right? You might be waiting for a long time. Whereas if you look at your calendar for the week or the month and decide, okay, these are the times where I am going to practice self-care. I'm going to take care of myself. On Monday, I'm going to do this. On Wednesday, I'm going to do that. A couple of weeks from now, I have this planned. And then it's if you're super organized, like it's right there, it's in your calendar. And that might be the best way to help you get it done. And if you have it in your calendar, you might even find that it motivates you to like figure out what you need to do. Because like if you're like my husband, he'll often ask himself, like he'll say, I don't even know what to do. And I'll encourage him to do something for himself and say, what might you like to do? And he'll just not even know because it's really hard for him to practice self-care and to think about even the kinds of things that he would like to do to practice self-care. But if you're like that, if you already have it plugged into your calendar, hopefully it'll give you that extra nudge to figure it out, right? So like maybe, Thursday, you're going to practice yoga, or Saturday morning, you got in your calendar, I'm going for a nature walk. And then maybe Monday night, I'm going for coffee with a friend. And even if you haven't booked that coffee with a friend, just put it in your calendar and then try to go find a friend to have coffee with. And then if no friends are available right now for coffee because times are really tricky these days, you can find something else to do. But the point is that it's scheduled, and if you have other people in your life, you're letting them know that this is something that you need, that's important to you, and that you need to, like, everybody needs to figure out how to find time for, the same way that you make time for other things on your calendar. Now, if you're then like one of those, if you're among the people who actually have a hard time even acknowledging why self-care is important, that's okay. It's, maybe not as common still as it needs to be. But the point is that you need it. I need it. We all need it. Like, there's no question about it. And if you're signed up for this week's challenge, for this 5-day challenge, it means that you've identified that you're feeling stressed out and that you don't want to be as stressed out as you are, that you're not coping with it as well as you would like, and that maybe you're also feeling burnt out and tired and overwhelmed and fatigued, etc., etc., into which I would say this is what self-care aims to address, right? Self-care means that you're meeting your emotional, physical, and mental needs. And when you're super busy, they often get neglected. And then you can't actually perform to the best of your ability when those needs are not being met. There's no need to feel guilty about it. Everybody has those needs. You're not a robot. You have them, I have them, like we all do. And nobody here can actually get through without taking care of themselves. It's not heroic. It's just ignoring, basic, biology sometimes, actually. So it's okay to say, I need that time for myself. It doesn't mean you're being selfish. It doesn't mean you're neglecting other important things. It means that you want to actually be your best you for those other things. And so you might be asking yourself, and I have been asked, how much time do I have to put into this? Like, how much time do I have to spend on self-care for it to help or for it to count? And that's really up to you and what you need and what your life is like and what your life allows. I would like to say try as much as you can, as often as you can. Like, ideally, you'd be practicing self-care a few times a week at least. But if that seems like a really big leap, then can you start with once a week? Could that work? And can you put it in your calendar? So I had you guys on Sunday write a list of 3 things that you like to do that are just for you. There's a lot of things that bring me joy that aren't necessarily simply just for me. I have fun playing with my kids. I enjoy that, but that's not time just for me, and that's not what I meant on this list. I'm talking about things that nourish you, that are just for you. It could be you enjoy painting, you enjoy, like me, going for walks or going for nature walks. You might like bike riding or yoga, or you have a passion for some kind of craft like jewelry making or pottery. There's a lot of cool ones out there. You know, wherever your interests lie, this is just a very short list. The list can go on and on. Can you take time for that at least once a week? And that's it. Start with once a week, if that's as much as you can take. If you can keep doing more, that's even better, because the more you do, actually, you'll find the easier it gets, the more natural it comes to you, and the better you feel. Because really, I mean, I think that most of the things that we've been addressing this week, like meditation, exercise, getting to bed early, these are all forms of self-care. So if you're doing that this week, great, like check that box. We need all of these things, and it might be really hard to do all of them all the time. That's okay. I don't do all of them all of the time, but I try to do at least one once a day, every day, something, anything, because I know that I'm going to feel so much better the next day and the next if I keep them up, if I keep up that habit. So let's see what other questions I got. I got what counts as self-care. I kind of talked about that. If you guys have any other questions about tips and tricks for implementing self-care, especially if you have a busy life or a busy household, feel free to either include them in the comments or include them in the Facebook group. I'm more than happy to talk about self-care. It's something that I think we're all trying to learn more about, to practice more. But also I find that having it in your discourse, having more people to talk about it with, helps it keep it on your radar so that you're more likely to be remembering to do it. So this week, you guys have done so many great things. You've done, for some of you, so many new things: meditation, exercise, getting to bed early, reducing caffeine, hopefully thinking about taking care of you so that you can reduce your stress levels and not feel so burnt out. And so I'm really, really excited that you guys are taking these great steps for yourselves. And if you want to continue managing your stress, I do offer private coaching for those of you who are ready to really tackle your stress levels, your health, you know, all of those really intense symptoms of burnout and anxiety and sometimes fatigue. For those of you who really want that private one-on-one support, I do offer my health coaching program. And I'm actually offering a special offer for those of you who have signed up for the challenge this week. If you, after an initial consultation, which is totally free and there's like no obligation for the initial consultation, but if you decide that you want to sign up for my signature program at that time within the next week, then I'm offering an additional bonus health coaching session for within that package. So I'm really excited to hear how you guys are doing this weekend and over the course of the week. I'll definitely be following up with each of you to see how you're doing, how you're feeling. Hopefully your sleep is getting better. Hopefully you're feeling lighter and just better able to manage the stressors of your life. I mean, this week has been amazing for me, but today was a real doozy of a stressful day. Like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So I'm definitely in need of some self-care. I'm going to have a really nice Epsom salt bath tonight. And then I've got two more self-care things lined up for this weekend for myself. Let me know whatever you guys have planned. And I hope that this week has been really rewarding and fruitful for all of you. I can't wait to hear how it's been. And I'll be in touch with you soon. Take care. Bye.